Hello, I'm Patrick Linnell with CattleFax Closing Bell. Today's Closing Bell is sponsored by IMI Global, third-party verification and value-added services you can trust. The cattle futures complex has been a roller coaster over the past week to 10 days. After 3 days sharply higher to end last week, futures consolidated early this week before moving lower to finish the week. After a $4 bounce higher, the April live cattle contract finished the week near last week's low. The question is, was last week's strength simply a corrective rally in the downward trend? Fed cattle trade this week benefited somewhat from the strength in the board compared to last week, with trade in the South occurring at $1.20 per hundredweight, $1 higher than last week. However, weakness in the futures complex Thursday prevented the North from being a full $1 higher like the Southern Fed cattle markets. Still, the North traded steady to one higher at mostly $1.19 to $1.20 live and $1.90 on a dress basis. The expectation is for a Fed trade par to $1 over the April live cattle futures next week, as supplies are generally manageable, but futures are leading the market. The feeder cattle market strengthened this week, benefiting from the early week stability in the futures complex. The CME feeder cattle index gained $1.03 from last week, with Thursday's quote at $141.95. Throughout the country, feeder cattle prices were mostly steady to $4 higher. Calves were widely varied by region, trading from $4 lower to $7 higher on the week. The U.S. average 550-pound steer price was $173.80 per hundredweight. The monthly USDA cattle on feed report was not released as of recording, but the expectation is for January placements slightly above year-ago levels, with cattle on feed up around 2%. This would be the fifth month of larger placements, but positive grazing conditions and slightly tighter supplies of feeder cattle and calves should slow the placement pace over the next few months. Beef demand continues to run strong at the consumer level, according to recently released USDA retail meat prices for January. Beef prices in January averaged $5.94 per pound, up 4% from last year. Check out this week's CattleFax update for the full story on retail prices and demand. Thanks for watching, and remember to visit CattleFax.com to become a member and receive the latest market news and analysis.